Hey, what's happening? What's happening? Welcome to Showing Off with
Angie Pontani.
and Brian Newman.
I got first billing.
Yeah, you got
this
top
week?
billing that week.
Wow.
Just, forget about it. You got top billing, man.
Thanks, babe.
What's been going on? It's been a pretty good week, pretty busy.
Yeah, it's been a really busy week, but it's been an exciting week.
Yeah.
I've been really into what we've got going on for our new show at the Bob.
Yeah, for sure. We've been doing some new music, new music for you.
And that's always exciting because it's like we do our thing and we do our thing and we do our thing. And then when we bring in new music, it's like,
yeah, after like 5 years, we bring in a new song, and then 10 years, we bring in another new song, and
we
then
do.
5 years.
It's always new to somebody.
But it's new to somebody, but we've been, the new ones have been really fun. We did Jersey Girl this year, and then we just debuted Danzig Mother, which has
was
been
something
really
I would have
fun.
never, ever, I don't think I even knew that
but
song.
we started doing that when I recorded the record in Austin. We did a record down there, all live to tape, live track to tape, and then that was one of the tunes. So I played it for you, and you dug it, and we ended up doing it.
And I never thought, like, with Jersey Girl, it was awesome because you kind of made it like a bop. Like, it's the same, not the same, but I always love like that rhythm, that night train, that classic.
Yeah, we made it a little greasier.
You made it greasy and dirty and burlesque.
Yeah.
But Mother is like, it's like.
Oh, it's such a heavy metal song.
Heavy metal?
I mean, it would be called like punk rock, heavy rock and roll. I don't know. I would just call it rock and roll.
I think it's really fun to perform a burlesque routine to that, and especially Mother, because it's like,
especially at the Box too. The Box is such a rock and roll, Lower East Side, downtown thing. Like, I love doing different kinds of music there.
It's been fun. So I want to welcome everybody to Showing Off with Brian Newman and Angie Pontani. And this is the show where we're kind of opening up the backstage door into our showbiz lives. We're going to introduce you to all of our show business friends from across the spectrum, different performers, entertainers, writers, dancers. And we're going to get the story of the guts and the glory and the flops and the drops and everything else and the highs and the lows, and then try to find out why we keep doing this.
Listen, there's no other choice, no other options at this point. That's it.
It's showbiz, baby.
Showbiz, baby, for sure.
And that brings us to
today, man. For our first guest officially on the Showing Off podcast, we wanted to kick it off with someone who is not only a showbiz legend, but he's family. So, of course, we called in the hardest working middle-aged man in show business, Mr. Murray Hill.
Murray Hill's a one-man entertainment machine. Comedian, host, actor, writer, producer, and walking time capsule of classic showbiz charm. Here in New York City, he is a downtown stage legend, and now television audiences know him as the lovable Fred Rococo on HBO's Somebody Somewhere, the Peabody-winning AFI-honored comedy, and also the Critics' Choice LGBT Plus Ensemble Award. He's appeared in Life and Beth, Drag Me to Dinner, Elsbeth, Welcome to Fletch, and King of Drag. On the big screen, he starred in Paul Feig's Jackpot with John Cena and Awkwafina, and will soon share the holiday cheer with Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Man with the Bag. Murray's talents extend beyond performance.
Hey, take it easy.
It's true. It is true. There's more. I got some too.
Oh my God.
You wrote it.
He served as a guest correspondent for ABC News and Hulu's Pride Across America, reporting live from the nation's biggest Pride celebrations. NBC News named him as one of the 30 most iconic and influential drag performers in modern history. His memoir, Showbiz, My Life as a Middle-Aged Man, is a candid, laugh-out-loud account of a life spent chasing the spotlight and finding family, community, and resilience along the way. Murray Hill brings an old-school showbiz sensibility to a new generation, proving that quick wit, big heart, and a well-timed rim shot never go out of style. Murray brings the perfect blend of wit, warmth, and showbiz flair to everything he does.
Murray Hill, finally, welcome to Showing Off.
Welcome to Showing Off.
We are so happy to have you. Are you happy to be here?
Are you guys done reading off the paper?
Yeah, we're done reading off the paper.
I just fucking blacked out. Fell asleep.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, showbiz. Well, it's not my show, but let's have a round of applause for them reading.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Harder than it looks.
Yeah, you could tell they're how far they went in school. But anyway, kids, good morning. Great to see you. And, any day I could hang out with the two of you in a bribed format setting.
Yes.
Wearing tracksuits and middle age. I'm happy to do it.
Well, Murray, I want to ask you the first question that we like to ask our guests. And that is, what are you showing off? What are you showing off today?
Well, it's not, I don't really have a choice to show this off, but I am showing off the result of a body that I worked very hard for with carbohydrates and pasta and intermittent feasting. So I'm showing off my Adidas tracksuit that shows my beer belly.
It looks good.
But I haven't had a drink in 10 years. So do the math.
And I can vouch for that.
Showbiz.
I was there for the last one, I think.
I think you were. You poured it for me.
Yeah, I think I probably did to the end. So you're Mr. Showbiz. You've got this larger than life persona, as we can clearly see.
I'm not even awake.
You're doing great for not being awake. I would say you're at 60, a solid 60%. You're the hardest working middle-aged man in showbiz. How did you get here? How did you become to be this? Was it written in the stars? Were you born and you said, hey, this is what I want, a tracksuit, my grandpa glasses, and a great attitude?
Well, I am half Italian,
Yes.
and that's why we bond. So I can't say that it was a choice early on to be like this, because I look like all my Italian uncles and grandfather. The whole Italian side, which is on my mother's side, is all short, chubby guys
Lovable.
that had lovable, chubby, had big personalities. And they used to actually call my grandfather Shorty Big Time, because he was like 5'1", but he had a huge personality.
How have you never used Shorty Big Time?
That's the name of the new show I'm working on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Showbiz.
Showbiz.
So I look like all the Italian sides. And I know you two know this. I'm not like the other guys, okay? I'm a little different. So I grew up in a very conservative household, Catholic, Irish, Italian. It was intense. So, I look like a tomboy. And, I wasn't treated that well at the house and society and all that stuff. So when I, was in high school and junior high and elementary school, I escaped and found solace in watching the Johnny Carson show. So, I didn't, I grew up in New England. There's no showbiz in New England. There's no showbiz anywhere, right? There's no nothing.
It's true. You got to make it.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah.
So my introduction to show business was Johnny Carson and the Norman Lear sitcoms. So, I was this fucked up kid, being discriminated against in my own home and out in the school and stuff. So I would sit and watch, Different Strokes.
Yeah.
Different Strokes.
Did you watch Archie Bunker?
Oh, of course, Archie Bunker. I was at home watching these shows, and it was a window into a life that, first of all, I had no idea even existed. And it was a colorful life. And it was all these people with huge personalities. And, and a lot of these shows, like One Day at a Time, and Norman Lear was like the first to do this. He showed families that had a gay person in them. He showed, there was, on Different Strokes, one of the kids was sexually abused. It was like all this stuff that was so taboo, and like Maude talked about having an abortion.
Yeah.
And like all this stuff was like earth shattering back then. And it was like, I was learning that the world wasn't conservative and excluding me through watching television. So it was really, it was just wild.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be them. So what started when I was young was escapism. So, when I got to elementary school, I was a jock growing up, right?
Softball.
Okay, that's homophobic.
No, well, we played softball
You're profiling me.
We were on the same team.
No, well, I played softball with your sister. You're going to add rim shots to this, right?
Yes. Rim shots were definitely.
What else did you
Put the
play?
air conditioning on.
You were good.
What other sports
I
did
know
you
you're
play,
good
Mar?
at softball, but what else did you play?
Well, I know I'm short, but I played basketball as a point guard.
No.
I played lacrosse and I played soccer. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We believe
Showbiz.
you. We believe
It
you.
doesn't seem like it.
No, I believe you. I just didn't know. I
Were
thought
you-
you were just softball.
Were you also doing like the plays in school or like the
So
stuff like
that's where I
that?
was getting with this, Brian, is,
Yeah.
in New England, if you play sports, like that's all anybody cared about,
Right.
right?
Of course.
But there was an arts program. And you're not going to believe this, but the guy that taught acting was gay. Nobody said that because, nobody knew what gay was back then.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Anyway, so just out of a total whim, I went and tried out to do this. It was like acting, like after school acting group. And, it was totally nuts. Like, I didn't have anything prepared, much like today. And I just went in there and the adrenaline took me over. I was in front of I was a very shy, beaten down kid, literally.
Yeah.
And, so I went into this group of people and I was all shy and stuff. And then it was my turn. I just got up there and whatever took over. And I was like improvising like crazy.
That's amazing.
And, it was like 2 minutes and people were laughing and all this stuff. And, I made this group. And then, my parents, well, I shouldn't say my parents, my mother,
Yeah.
showbiz, Italian. She was like, no, you're doing sports. You're going to school at sport. So that was my first brush. But then I started I'm talking too much. And then I started, instead of reading books for books reports, I would dress up in character as the subject of the book.
Oh.
So, and then I basically was cross-dressing in elementary school,
And getting A pluses.
And getting A pluses on all your stuff.
Yes.
Was that when you did that first audition for the play? Did you feel accepted then, like too, or
No.
not at all? Because were you able to do that play, or did your mom just take you out of all that?
I couldn't do any of it.
That was the last time you did that.
No, I didn't even get to
Wow.
the play. I just auditioned and made it, and then
Your mom
you
said
made
no.
it, and then your mom said no.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But then you made your own space in the classroom by coming in dressing as these figures.
I guess the takeaway for that goes to later in life is I embodied these characters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't, write about things. I like dressed up as, I actually dressed up as Hester Prynne as Scarlet Letter.
Oh, wow.
And I had the big A on my
Yes.
I had overalls on.
Yeah.
And I was walking around at school and people are like making fun of me because that was the whole thing that they
Right.
And I was like, my speech, in school, in class was like, well, I know what she feels like. I dealt with that all day long.
Oh, man.
The Scarlet Letter.
Man.
Yeah. So, so I became these characters. And I think, a little bit of a full circle moment was, I watched One Day at a Time and I was obsessed with Schneider. And, when I say obsessed, it wasn't a fan thing. It was like, and this is, the gender confusion, all that stuff. I wanted to be Schneider.
Yeah.
Right.
Not just because he looked great, but the ladies loved him. He was useful. He was always coming in. He was the funny guy. He was like the funny uncle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for a book report, I think this was in 6th grade. I don't even remember, but it's so long ago. I dressed up as Schneider.
Wow.
I took my father's cigarettes
Yeah.
To school.
which were Salem
Yeah.
menthols. I rolled them up in my goddamn t-shirt. Okay, I had a vest on, a tool belt. So there's the irony for that.
Yeah.
If you don't know that signifier, look up lesbians and tool belts. And I built a refrigerator out of a huge cardboard box. What? I brought in the refrigerator. I painted on a mustache. Okay.
Oh, I know you didn't.
In 6th grade, I painted on the mustache. I was basically who I am now.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot
You
skinnier.
already knew. You already were there.
And I was making repairs and telling jokes.
No, you weren't.
Yeah. And I don't remember anything more than that. But so it's almost like I started doing drag and it wasn't conscious.
No, you were doing
And it was
school, but
innocent, like
so organic.
people weren't like, oh my God, you're dressing as a man or you have to be a girl. Like there was all that from society, but it wasn't, nobody knew anything back then. So, so people didn't give me shit about it. They were like, oh, this is funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think what was going on underneath that was, I did feel more like a guy.
Yeah.
So even back then, it was like easier for me to like dress like Schneider than Bonnie Franklin.
Of course.
Bonnie, by the looks of you, Bonnie Franklin was the mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
one day, these fucking kids.
never watched that show.
You never watched One Day at a
Yeah, because
Time?
he's
No, I'm sorry.
34.
Yeah.
Oh, no, so you embodied the character, and that's, very much you. And like What I was thinking about that I think is really cool with your comedy is like, obviously we're looking at, this is all coming from like the 70s and 80s. This is a totally different kind of comedy. It's caustic, it's biting. A lot of it you couldn't do today. You don't see that kind of thing, right? And then you look at your influences like Shecky Green, Don Rickles. Like, it's just like.
And all those guys I saw on Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because back then he used to have like Toady Fields, Don Rickles, Sinatra, Dean Martin. And back then they weren't there to promote a project or a product. They would just shoot the shit.
Yeah.
And it was that very comfortable personality vibe that I was just drawn to. Like it's like you just wanted to hang out with them.
No, they're cool. It's a
They
good
were
time.
fun.
Yeah.
But like what I think is cool is that the kids today, like we know this, right? But not even most people our age know it, but we know it because of the influences that we had in our lives at that time. Most of the kids today don't know this comedy. So when they see you, it's all new to them. And I think that's pretty cool. Like
I'm a little bit of a novelty.
You're a novelty, but it's like, it's something that the style, you don't see it a lot. And you just embody it so beautifully, clearly, because it had such an influence on you. But it's funny. I mean, I think you're funny.
Well, thank you. I think you're funny too. Rim shot? Anybody? The style of humor that I do isn't really in.
Yeah.
You know
definitely.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And, every comedian does crowd work, but it's that crowd work of like, that's very canned and like, what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
But, my crowd work is a little bit more like the old Catskills Vegas lounge comedians, where it's more interactive and I'm always reading off the room. So sometimes when I go to the younger people and act like this, it can be very jarring. Yeah. So this happened recently, showbiz. I was at some restaurant in the West Village. The West Village, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of homosexuals over there. And these two gay guys were probably on their 5th bottle of wine. And they were like all canoodling in the corner. So I walk up, basically looking like I look now. And I said, how you doing, fellas? And, they recognized me. I was like, hi, fellas. How are you? And they're like, hey, Murray. And I looked down and I said, they were probably in their 30s. I said, where are the wives tonight? And one of them was like, what? Why are you saying that?
Oh, no.
Why do you think I'm the one that has the wife? I was like, guys. They're like, we're gay. I'm oh, I know.
Have you seen my act?
Yeah. We all know you're gay. But, it's like that. It's not and even this is a little bit more nuanced, but, when I was coming up and then part of the queer community, it was always like family, right?
Yeah.
The mother, the father, like in the drag, and it was always like community, a different language. So sometimes, now when I see a gay person, a young person, I'll be like, "You in the family?" And they're like, "What? I just met you. I don't know who you are." No, I'm like, "You're in the family, right?" And they're like, "I'm sorry, I don't get it."
It's totally different language.
But I'm old school, and I like to acknowledge the family.
Yeah.
Especially now
Definitely.
in this shit show climate that we're in. And it's like, I like to let people know that I see them and, I accept them and I'm like giving community vibes. And
Yeah.
so sometimes when I say that, I think I'm reading as some like creep who's about to like gay bash them. I'm like,
You're like,
no,
no.
I'm good.
No, I'm good. I'm in the family.
I'm in the family.
I'm in the family.
You don't have to worry about this guy.
Let's talk about the shit show community that we're in right now. Like everything's crazy. Lots of attacks on the trans community, the gay community.
Even today, new ones on the way
I
over.
didn't even see them. How do you keep positive? Like, how are you staying focused in this? Because you actually have been more active. I see you online, obviously. Like, you're being very supportive, very positive, smacking down some people. How do you keep your energy up during this, which is very energy bad?
Well, it is exhausting, but I do feel a social responsibility and a responsibility to my community to just keep being who I am.
Yeah.
And that is accepting, loving, treating people the same, even if I'm, making fun of them or razzing them or whatever. Because I think what's happening now, there's so much volume of hate.
Yeah.
And I can get swept up in that too. Obviously, anytime I go on social media, I'm like, oh God, now what?
Yeah.
But
Exhausting.
yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And it's, I have a target on my back, and my community has a target on my back. And then specific communities within the queer community have targets. Like, it's out of control.
Completely.
I'm a little bit of an elder in this area. Is like, I've always had a target on my back. So, the young kids who grew up, with Obama and all that stuff, like, they felt empowered. They didn't realize there was all this negativity and oppression and all this. Like, it was like good for a while.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine being young and not having to march, and like, or being young enough where you thought gay pride was something that was fun?
Yeah.
Right. Because gay pride is a protest. It was a protest. It was about Stonewall and, the gay rights being trampled. So I've been here before. It's probably never been this worse.
Yeah.
So, I just try to like lead by example and remind people that, and I feel like this when we were just in Philly and Boston.
Talk about that.
Is, I can sit here, on my phone while I'm taking a dump, looking at, these anti-trans posts and be like, oh my God, everyone hates me in the world. I'm going to get mugged outside or all this. It's like, you get sucked up in that. And it's real.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I still believe this, and I say this on my Christmas show every year. I really believe that there are more good people and accepting people and loving people in the world than the hatred.
100%.
And, the No Kings March was just a couple of days ago, and 7 million people.
Amazing.
Okay, so that's 7 million people that took to the streets in this country. That is a lot of people on the right side of history.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the administration, that's like, what, 20 guys yelling
Yeah.
Yeah,
constantly?
exactly.
So,
exactly.
I try to stay in that good spot, and then, and then use common sense to fight it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's when we did the Philly show, when we left, I was feeling so good because the love in that room was so overpowering. You could feel the positivity. You could see the joy on people's faces. And I mean, I remember us doing shows when George Bush was in office, and you were counting down the days.
Good old days.
And we
What
thought
we would
that
give
was
to have
bad.
that back.
To be at the Philly show and see that, because you're right. You look at your phone, you get down on it, but the reality is there's so much love and support out there. And your show in Philly was such a testament to that, because the audience was just like, it was an outpouring of love and support. And it was really,
And
it
for
felt good.
everybody.
Yeah, for
And
everyone.
I think people are hungry to have that feeling.
Yeah.
So, I've always put showbiz and entertainment first. So I've never been, I'm not going to have a show and be like, fuck them,
No,
do that.
of
Blah, blah.
course.
My shows, or whether I'm hosting or doing my own show, is about bringing people together.
Yep.
And, kids, not to get corny, but it's early, I lead with the heart.
Yeah.
And so when I'm in these different cities or different countries performing, in a tuxedo and a pencil mustache and
Yeah.
whatever, I am certain things, I represent certain things, but I don't start with that. I start with, I'm a person, you're a person, I have a heart, you have a heart, we're the same. We come from the same base.
Well, we've played so many rooms with different types of audiences. So, of course, we look at Philly and like, this is a Murray Hill audience. Like, they were there to see you. They love you. They're supportive of that. But we have played rooms all over the country and world where that's not always been the case. And we've been nervous sometimes. I remember pre-show be like, oh my God, look at, there's all these like dude bros out there, or all these
like
office people,
like
or
DC.
conservative. Totally.
Yeah.
But it is the activism through the performance and the joy that you spread that just takes down these walls. And then I've never seen an audience not fall in love with you, no matter what they're made up of.
It's true. And, part of that is pounding the board so much that having material that can work in any audience.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I do a certain set of jokes, as you both know. You could both do my routines just as much as I could both do your routines
True.
in my sleep,
It's
and
true.
we call that a nightmare.
Well, we haven't even said that. The three of us have been you've been working together for a long time,
Yeah.
but the three of us have worked together
a really long
extensively.
She's in the book.
I didn't make it in the memoir.
I don't know. There was that time that you caught us talking about you, and we're all drinking.
Oh,
at the
God, at the
hotel.
Birchmere. Oh, that's right.
There's
Did
a
you
lot
put
of,
that in
like-
the book?
I can't remember.
Okay. You remember that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember.
We were all,
We got caught red-handed.
Talking shit about me.
Well, you didn't want to run numbers at rehearsal.
Yeah,
and you
so
were
I
being
hate-
mean
I hate
about it,
rehearsal.
and we were complaining about
Yeah.
it, but we didn't realize you were actually in the room. And then you got really mad. And you stormed off. But we had a valid concern.
Valid concern.
That perhaps we shouldn't have been bitching about it.
It's okay. Did the show end up being all right?
The
Do you guys
show was
remember if
great,
the number
yeah.
was good?
It was fantastic.
Yeah, see, exactly.
the same as it always.
Fuck rehearsal.
Yeah, we don't rehearse.
No, but your material does work across the board. And that was something I want to talk about too, because in Philly, we've done shows together for a billion years. You had new material in Philly.
Yes.
And I said to myself backstage, oh, he wasn't joking. He actually has new material. There was so much new stuff in the show. There was like video stuff. You had a new song. You
I
had
hate to
new
call you out.
jokes.
I hate to call you up, but you have not come to my own solo show in the last 5+ years. So
Okay.
Yeah, so-
all right. That's
so maybe
valid
those
too.
jokes are old
That's
too?
valid too.
they're
Is that what
almost
you're
all.
saying? They're almost
No, there was new stuff in there
No,
because it
I
was
did
all
the
stuff
There's
to the
definitely
songs.
new
It was
stuff.
like my one-man show with the band.
But
Yeah.
you also had all this stuff referencing all the film and TV
Yeah.
stuff that you've done. I was really like, wow, this is amazing. What's your
was-
process like for this? You saw it too.
Yeah, so I was there for the cheesesteaks, but I did catch the show. It was
You were
very,
watching.
it
I
was
saw
very
you
good.
in the
Yeah,
corner
it was very. It was
watching.
no, it was. I'm joking. It was a great show. Always, Murray. We love you, man. Love always.
But
great
like
to
you're
see
coming up with all this new material. You do it by yourself or are you having writers help you?
No, it's
now
just,
that you're a big shot.
I'm a big shot. All right. You know, my cash flow is extremely high,
Huge.
and I will be sending the cab receipts to Wolf Studios. You know, my live show is based on the same structure as Don Rickles.
Mm.
Now, I've seen Don Rickles live about 40 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you met him.
Yep, I met him. And, you know, what I loved about him is that he spent about 40 minutes opening the show.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah.
Opening
Yeah.
song and then stop that, doing jokes and then
totally.
start going again
Yeah.
and then do another opening and then start the show. So I do exactly that,
Yeah.
as you know.
Yeah.
And then I do some stuff in the middle and then and a ballad, you
Yeah.
do a tear-jerking thing.
I
And
love
then-
the new ballad.
Thank you. And then you spend the rest of the show closing.
Yeah.
So the show is opening and closing with a little stuff in the middle. So I have my set structure and then I will update things based on either what room I'm in or like if something funny happened, like that new showbiz song that
Yeah.
I do.
Loved that.
Yeah.
You know, it's a funny song about all the crazy things that happen people say to me in show business, but I make it into a fun song.
Yeah.
And you know what somebody said to me the other day, which was
Uh-oh.
very
You're
funny?
going to have to update the song? What?
Yeah. Although I was just seeing Bridget Everett at the Beacon. And I had this exact same outfit on.
Oh, you wore that to the
Yeah,
Beacon?
different T-shirt. Place was packed, and there were so many Somebody Somewhere fans in there. So people were really jacked up to see me. And one guy, so sweet, comes up to me, older guy, and he was like, I was like, hey, how you doing? And he was like, is that your voice? Is that your voice or are you in character right now?
Oh,
And
no.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he was like, is that your voice? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's innocent, but it's you know, the wheels were turning like, what the fuck is this?
It's enough to put it in the song.
It's enough to make it in the song.
I want to hear your other voices.
Yo, what's up?
Oh my God. Do you remember when your impersonations? Oh, you used to do such great impersonations.
I know, the old days.
That was a great segment that you used to have in the show.
I used to take requests too.
Yeah.
And most of the time it bombed, but I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
It didn't bomb. You did some really good ones, though I can't remember any of them because it was 100 years ago.
It was 100
But
years
they were
ago.
really good. I just picture you on the stage at Choreo, which was about the size of a throw pillow. And you would just be going through them, and then the audience would be yelling them out. And that show went off the rails so many times.
God.
That was, did we do that show together?
I never did choreo.
You never
with
did it?
You were around though.
I was
You were
hanging
on.
out. Yeah,
you were
totally.
hanging out there.
That was
Totally.
like 3 years of shows we did, 3 nights a week, right? Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 2 shows on Fridays, 2 shows on Saturdays. And now it's a pancake house.
Is it?
Yeah, we went by the other day. It's a pancake
Shutting
house.
them down since 19 when? Since 19
Yeah.
when? You know what I mean? Jesus.
If only they knew what happened on that roof.
But Mur, like, so, over the years, I know you wrote a lot of your material, you did all that stuff, but then like later in life, you were doing shows at Joe's Pub, and I know you worked with Paul Reubens. I would love to hear about some of that. Like, what was working with Paul Reubens like? I mean, he was just incredible, man. And obviously one of your heroes as well.
Oh, you must have bet your ears must have been burning because, as you know, I'm working on my book, and I'm a year and a half late. Showbiz. So I got 2 weeks to get it out the door. Showbiz. So I was just writing about the burlesque section. So you're in there, Angie, and then the whole Dita thing of Dina's manager seeing us at Choreo, and then they had me come and do the test shows at Triple Door. So I was writing about that.
Yeah, that's when we were roommates.
They were roommates, and then we did a test shows at the Roxy on Sunset Strip in LA. And, people are like, oh, it's such a cool space, these famous rock stars and blah, 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 blah. And I just wrote about this last night. When I got there and when I was just about to go on stage, I put my hand on the stage floor, both hands. Like when you make it home from a bad flight, you're like, thank God I made it. And I was like, this is the stage where Paul Reubens made it big.
Yeah.
So at the Roxy, he did his live show, the Pee Wee Herman show.
Mm-hmm.
He did it at the Groundlings first, and it was such a big hit that he went and he sold out 5 months at the Roxy, at a rock club.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Doing his show with all the original. And from that, when he made Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the movie, and then from that, he did the TV show. But it was all the same. It was like us. It was like all the same people like slugging in these comedy clubs and the Groundlings and then putting on the show. He put it on himself.
Yeah.
He did it at a rock club. It wasn't a theater.
Yeah.
So he was a hero of mine just for his pure imagination.
Yeah.
He's hilarious, totally original. And he was a 100% full realized persona. And his persona, was very childlike. So I was just and he never broke. Now the scandal, so that, I related to him that you have a persona and then you kind of forget about the other stuff.
Yeah.
And then he got into some trouble. And that kind of facade with the persona,
gets shattered.
It got shattered, and then he had some hard times and all that. But anyway, he was a big hero of mine, and I fast forward like 25 years later.
Yeah.
I was in LA and I did a show at this private theater inside the owners of the Magic Castle's mansion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
in
beautiful.
Beverly Hills. Okay.
Yeah.
So there was an old vaudeville theater in there, and because it was the Magic Castle's run. Long line of family members. So the father built a little stage in there to audition magicians.
That's crazy.
Erica, the daughter
Of the Magic Castle people.
of the recent matriarch, she would have a private show in there. It was invite only. So she had heard about me and asked me to come and do a little bit. Erica invited me to do the show, and there was a cocktail party in the garden before the show. So I get there and pretty much everybody was ignoring me. And I was like, And I was like, Erica, how are you? And she goes, oh my God. And I had my suit on.
Yeah.
She's like, you got to meet Paul. I was like, oh my God.
Did you know he was going to be there?
No. I was like freaking out. So I went up to him and she was like, Paul, this is Murray from, New York. And he was talking to somebody. He turned around. He looked me up and down. He was like, hi. And then he turned back around.
Oh, no.
And I was, sometimes, that whole thing of don't meet your hero.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I wasn't upset because I was like, I don't care.
Okay.
I just met this guy. And, what I learned later is that he, and because of the scandal, he had really bad social anxiety. We went and did the show and I had 7 minutes and I just went, I was like flying off the handle.
I'm sure.
And I barely had anything to work with, I was like riffing off the piano player, the lights, it was like as bright as, I was just like dying up there. But I was like, nuts.
Going.
You know? Not something like they haven't seen in LA.
Yeah.
They were kind of like this. So I'm like sweating and I'm doing bits and all this stuff. And I go sit in my chair and I was like, I just stuck it up.
No.
I just bobbed. And then I feel a hand on my shoulder. And they pulled me back. And I kind of moved my head back. And I didn't know it was him. But Paul whispered in my ear, we're going to be friends forever.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
And that night, I went to his house.
Oh, man, that is so cool.
That was at the very top of the hill, like near Griffith Park. And it was, I mean, I just couldn't believe I was in his house. The cherry was in there.
No.
Yeah.
There were larger than life, what do you call those? Lava lamps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had just had an exhibit or was about to have an exhibit at the Smithsonian. So those white shoes that he wore in tequila
Yeah.
were just sitting right on a
Just
box,
out
like
on a box. Yeah.
2 feet away from me.
So crazy. So
And-
crazy.
So I just sat. It was me and Erica who had booked me, and him in his kitchen. I just couldn't.
Were you freaking out? Were you,
I just freaked out, and like he is the funniest person I had ever met.
wow.
He's constantly doing pranks. He's so. I mean, everything in that house was like a romper room.
Yeah.
I mean, at the kitchen table there was a spilled cup of coffee
Oh.
and fake bread.
Yeah.
Did he give you the black chewing gum?
Yeah, and it was all. And he's
Hand
like,
buzzers?
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, I put this here so if the security team comes, the cops come by, they go and grab it, and it's fake. There's just fake food everywhere. There's Gumbies, dolls, artifacts. He was probably a little bit of a hoarder too. Like there was just archives.
How can you
His
not?
entire
Everywhere.
place was full.
It's such a long career.
Of
So how
archives.
did that start translate into you guys like working together and on that Joe's Pub show?
So, well, we struck up a friendship and pretty quickly, and we did certain things together. We did a Magic Castle show. It was called the Brookledge Follies. So we did one out of town, and we did a bit together where I was doing my gig and he was heckling me from the audience, but it was all canned.
Yeah.
And he was just going for it. I mean, it was just crazy shit like that. I got this award or something to develop a one-man show
Okay.
at Joe's Pub,
Mhm.
a workshop. So I had asked him to do it, and he was like, yes, of course, of course. So I went out to LA, and I got a little bit of money to do it. So I went out to LA, and I stayed at my friend's. I slept on the floor in her tiny ass apartment in Silver Lake. And I pretty much went to Paul's house every night
Wow.
for like a month and a half.
Mhm.
And we really never worked on the show. And we just hung out and I just absorbed
Yeah.
and listened to him.
Yeah.
We talked about showbiz. We talked about life, but it was just like this private club, this private bond that we had.
Yeah.
And, he would give me like pointers and stuff, but we actually maybe
He never really wrote.
no, maybe once we sat down
Yeah.
and typed,
Yeah.
maybe once, but I just sat there in like complete awe and just learned from him
Yeah.
just about everything and I still carry a lot of him with me because in fact, I just, made a couple of easy jokes to you this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I was like, what's the address again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I've already shared the address
Yeah.
about 3,000
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. So,
And I sent the
But
address.
but she yep.
yeah. And, things like, I would be on the phone with him, and then when I wasn't in LA with him, we'd talk on the phone and we'd talk late at night and he would have his sound effects
Oh my
on his
God.
phone. So we'd be on the phone and then all of a sudden I'm hearing a baby crying. And he was like, I'm so sorry. Hold on. Yeah. Yep. Did you change the diaper? Yeah. Like all this kind of stuff. Right. And, I don't know if you remember this, but last Thanksgiving or whatever, Mother's Day or Easter or whatever, I was at your house with your family. I taught your daughter.
Yes.
Yes.
I put
The
the
sounds
sound
on the phone.
effects on phone. And when you were just about to give your mother or you were about to give grace,
Yeah.
I said, now. So your daughter hit the phone and went,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You taught my daughter a lot of great things.
I love it. I think it's great. We should.
so it's like silly.
This is the role model that Sissy
Yeah,
needs.
it's like
No, it
fun
is.
and silly and laugh. And I think like, I never really got to be a kid when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So being around Paul, who was so childlike and just, he was kind of Arrested Development too.
Yeah.
But he was always silly and he had to deal with a lot of heavy shit.
Yeah, for sure.
And he dealt with it he was so kind, so generous, so funny and light. And so, yeah, we never actually got to the point, there was influences that made it into the show.
Yeah, of
But
course.
what I took from him was how to be in this world. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people from when I started to now, even last week, oh, don't do that. You can't do that in a show. You can't be this. And I'm like, people are like, you can't swear. And I'm like, Joan Rivers.
Yeah. Oh my God.
How many times did I see her?
Yeah.
She would open up for I saw her open up for Don Rickles
That
in New
something.
Jersey, showbiz. And she'd be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And, so people, when you're different and original, they always are trying to shut you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do with you.
No, but they want to squash you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I grew up in my family. So, that's the biggest thing I took from him. He gave me permission to be myself
Do you think?
and to be silly and to just have fun with this.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And you certainly have.
absolutely.
I've been talking to my mix.
No,
it's
Are we
like-
done?
You talk so much, never.
But like when people tell you, like
Yeah.
when people have told me
Yeah.
not to say the F-bomb,
Yeah.
right? And all that kind of stuff. It's like, well, when Joan Rivers said it, it's an incredible feminist action.
Yeah.
Because ladies back, and Joan would say this about herself, ladies were told to be proper, not to make any noise, not to be aggressive, because comedy is a very male aggressive industry.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
And she was, like your height, so pretty short. And she went toe to toe with the guys and was like, fuck this and act this and act like that. And she was from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So, it was a choice. People aren't going to tell me to be quiet and
Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Exclamation point.
So, a lot of people have told me not to swear and stuff. And I'm just like, are you telling other people not to say shit?
Yeah.
Are we telling Joe Rogan to shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm. Your book, like, insane. You have all these insane stories. You have all these crazy adventures. We've been on so many together, let alone separately. But like, how do you even sit down to compile something like that? I mean, it's insane.
It's been torture.
And how do you edit it out? And how do you even remember? Well, I know you don't remember all the stories because you were like, when did we do this? Where were we? Do you have any pictures of this? Like, how
Well,
do you
when I-
hit that?
It was very difficult. And I just finished the nightlife section.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to go back to the 90s.
Yeah.
And because in my mind, I still think I just started.
Yeah.
But when I actually sat down, I'm like, wait, 96, I was in the clubs.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of sitting down and being comfortable sitting down with my thoughts, which is not a place I'd like to be,
Yeah.
and focusing and really thinking about, and I don't think about it like this, but my body of work. And it's just like, oh, wait, I was doing that. I was doing stuff with Penny. I
Yeah.
was doing, I was in the East Village on Flamingo East, and then I would go to Club Casanova at
Yeah.
night. So it was just like going back in history, and I definitely didn't remember. as
Well, and
much
it's
stuff.
hard too because we don't have like now I can go on my Instagram feed and see what I was doing 5 years ago, or I can Google it and come up with it. But like when you're talking about going back to the 90s, it's not a lot to go off of, and it's hard to remember.
No, it's hard to remember. Well, one thing I did put on there, Brian, I don't know if Angie told you this story, because sometimes when the stories are incriminating, she doesn't tell them to a lot
Yeah,
of people.
God,
of
what did
course,
I
of
do?
course.
Yeah. But, Angie had told us that we had this big gig in Venice at the Venice Film Festival. And, of course, the pay was very questionable and all that stuff.
We flew first class.
Yeah, we flew first class. So we were just going to do a little burlesque show at this Venice Film Festival event because somebody was doing a documentary on her,
in
Italians.
Italy. Yeah.
So they flew us out to do the show to support the movie. long story short, we get there and no one's there to pick us up or like, we're just like, okay, now what? We're like 4, 5 foot, Angie, in her case, 4'11", New Yorkers dropped off in Venice with huge suitcases and nothing.
Yeah.
No speaking any of the language. They're just like, okay. And she's like, yeah, so I guess somebody's coming to get us. Well, they did. We got to Venice, okay, which is an island.
Yeah.
And then we got, is that what you call it, or is it called a canal?
No, it's an island.
And then we got into some random boat and went to another island.
Yeah.
Okay, that was not Venice.
No.
Okay? And it looked like Alcatraz.
Well, it's because it used to be an insane asylum.
It was an insane asylum.
Oh my gosh, what are you doing? That's
I
crazy.
didn't know.
So we get there. It was like a San Servillo.
San Servillo. San Servillo.
There's nobody around. There's no food. There's no drink. There's no one. There's no rooms.
We were in like dorm rooms.
Yeah. Well, they took us to the dorm rooms eventually.
Yeah.
There was I didn't see another person. And I was like a little more high strung back then, if you can believe it. I was like, I need to eat. I need to eat something. Where am I going to get any food? And then, I couldn't get my drink on either.
Oh, I'd be the same way.
I was like,
fixed it.
I was like, where, again? Anyway, so whoever picked us up brought us walking to this other side of the psych ward and to the outdoor part, and you could hear the music. It was like a Biza.
Yeah, it was like.
Nice.
I was like, oh, cool, this is fun. It was like people were dancing and hanging off this.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a huge rager.
All the guys didn't have their shirts on.
Yeah, it was like full blown.
Yeah.
And the DJ was there, and we get there, and the usual. No microphone, no sound check.
Yeah.
It was like, just go.
No water. And so the music was so loud. People were having the time of their lives. And then the promoters were like, to me, get out now. I was like, what? Like, go out. I'm like, but where's the microphone? No, go out now. They're stopping the music. I'm like, do they have my music? Do they have the track? I'm like, is there a light?
Is there a light?
There was a light.
Okay.
There was a light.
They were like freak. It was so crazy. Like, go out now. And like, I can't do anything if I don't have a microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't, I'm not a dancer. I need to speak.
Yeah.
So if you can picture it, the music's pumping. People are having the time of their lives. It literally stops dead. And then I go out.
Yeah.
This little, chubby guy in a suit, dead silence, microphones off, no music playing, no nothing. I'm like this.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
And it was brutal. And then I was like, oh my God. And I said, hit play. And like that's when we had to bring CDs to kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And, the guy eventually hit it, but it was already halfway through the song.
Yeah.
And then my microphone, it was a disaster.
Oh my God.
And the light was like a floodlight. It was like a white, like they were probably searching.
No, it was a searchlight. I screamed at them to turn the light on me.
Yeah.
So while I'm in the dead silence, microphone's not on, my song's barely playing, I'm like screaming for them to put a light on me. So some tool turns around the floodlight, and it, of course, I looked into it, and I burnt my retina.
Oh my God.
I could not see.
Oh my God.
So I sing the song. It was like the longest 2 minutes of my fucking life. And then I started telling jokes, and this is the impersonation of how it was after I told a couple jokes.
I mean, they'll always translate to Italian, right? I mean, like, come on.
Well, Brian, I'm about to get to the point.
Yeah. All right.
Okay?
All right.
A good 10 minutes of absolute torture and pain. I look out and they were booing and heckling and stuff. But then, there was a couple in the front, going, no. And I was like, oh my God, nobody speaks English in here.
Yeah.
And then your wife, bless her heart, failed to mention that to me. So I went out and did a comedic monologue. I destroyed a dance party. I went out and did a monologue, and not one person in there understood what the hell I was saying.
That's so funny.
Well, and what I remember from this night is when you
I
introduced
flipped out.
me. I was walking on stage
I was
and
mad.
Murray grabbed my arm. We grab each other's arms and squeeze hard all the time. It's a sign that we love each other. And Murray said, "You have 30 seconds between each number to change," because we were doing like solo, group number, solo.
And that was a stretch in between to cover the
between people that don't speak English.
He was like, "That's it." That was the one time he got mad at me, I think.
No, twice I got mad at you, but yeah. So so that's in the book.
But then we ended up having a great Italian vacation.
We escaped the island.
We escaped the island. They were literally screaming at us in Italian as we sailed away on our boat. We did not get to go to the film festival. We didn't even go to the premiere because they were so mad at us for escaping the island. But we went and we got a lovely little apartment in Venice, and we stayed on the piazza, and we hung out by the fountain every night and
drank limoncellos. I had an allergic reaction.
Yeah,
Oh
Murray had
my
an
God.
allergic reaction to Sambuca one night.
My God.
But we did have a really nice time.
Sounds beautiful.
We walked around. We did. We walked and we ate, and we walked and we ate.
Sometimes it's the simpler times where,
Oh, he was still mad.
you know what I mean?
He
Yeah,
said,
but
"You
still,
are
but
not the
those
leader
memories
of
of the
every
simpler
chip."
times.
Yeah, and then I think after all that torture, I got back and she's like, "Here's your pay, $75."
We flew first class. And we didn't even know we were going to.
Anyway, it's so that's in the book. So
Yeah.
What I have had to learn, I'm learning now, is that I basically wrote 2 books worth.
Yeah.
So that's too much. And
Yeah.
a memoir is not a resume. It's
Yeah.
pieces from each section of your life. So that was the hard. That's what I'm working on now. It's like that's the hard part of not putting because I've done so much.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just like what are the kind of
Highlights, the big
the
stories.
highlights, and then what's the point of the book? And the point of the book is to explain what the origin story of the persona Murray Hill was, but it's also it's kind of I read memoirs, and I started as a kid when I was watching TV because we didn't have therapy. Your parents didn't talk to you about anything.
The therapy was the TV.
Yeah, nobody talked about
exactly.
So I got inspired to survive through reading memoirs.
I
So-
remember even back in like the early 2000s, it was always like Don Rickles. We read George Burns's and Gracie's together, like so many. I was going to ask you, like, which ones inspired you?
Well, the Tina Turner's memoir. I read that when I was getting my mother. Ironically, my mother gave that to me as a first, as a what's it called, confirmation present.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I related to Tina because she had her comeback when she was in her late 40s.
Yeah.
And she had been through hell.
Yeah.
And she also had a very strained relationship with her mother. So to read about her surviving, and then not only surviving but coming out the other side and thriving.
Yeah.
And breaking records and all that kind of stuff. So I want people to read it and realize that I always say this, but if you don't see yourself represented, go out and represent yourself. So I want people to read it and say, I can go through hard things. I can be told no. I can be told you're wrong. I can be told you don't exist. All that stuff, but just stay true to who you are and persevere, and you can get to the other side.
No, it's beautiful. I always love when you say that, because
Yeah, we talk
it's
about that all the time. We love that.
It's
Love that
heartwarming,
phrase.
but it's also like good advice. Like just
Yeah.
go and do it. Like you can sit
what
here
you
and you
gotta
can
do.
talk about it and you can whine about it, or you can go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it. And you've always been a doer. I want to talk about the drag king scene and the moment that it's having right now. Like, you must have seen so much growth in this since it was the 90s, the Hershey bar, right? Like so much growth, so much change, so many different types of representation within the drag king community, and then getting recognized now. So you were on the top 100.
Well,
But you weren't
so
alone.
I'll tell you about that. So it's not a secret that there's very different levels of representation.
Yes.
Drag queens and drag kings. I mean, it's apples and oranges, even now. That's a whole other discussion. So, drag kings and trans masks and butches, it's all, the representation has been terrible.
Yeah, it's
in
there.
society and pop culture and all that stuff. And within the gay community. So I got out 100 the first time, I think, in like early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I had that Budweiser bloat.
Yeah.
So it was really early on. So that was, I don't know, 25 years ago.
Wow.
And then I got it again maybe like 10 years ago. Okay. So fast forward to today, I got it again, but then King Molasses was in it.
Yeah.
Or El Dano. Yeah. So this is the first time in Out 100 since they've been doing this that I wasn't the only one.
That's pretty.
And I wasn't the token.
Wow.
So it's wonderful. It's a
long road.
It's great, but look how long it's taken.
Yeah.
And, I just did Comic-Con last week, which is a huge event.
Absolutely.
And we had a drag king panel. First time in all of the Comic-Cons in the world
Wow.
that they finally had this.
That's insane.
So there's so much progress.
Yeah.
More progress than I ever thought was possible. But it's still so black and white. It's just very different.
Well, you were creating spaces for these types of shows in like the early 2000s. You had Mr. Trans Man, you had the Les Pageant. Like these were really
Do you
fun.
remember? I think you might have been in it.
What?
Lot 61.
Yes, I was in that.
The Kings. That was 2001.
Was that really? I remember we had those little shorts we wore. We did dance number. I worked security at Mr. Trans Man. I think it was at the Knitting Factory or something. I remember being up at the front. I was like,
You've always been a wonderful ally.
thank you.
I mean,
Allie.
Shut up. But like when you were taking the risk to produce those shows, because you produce your own shows and they're always amazing, and these were like huge. They were well attended. The audience was electric. The contestants were so. I remember the Miss Les pageant. Like
The old
people
days.
were in it, man. Were you nervous to do? I mean, because they were a bigger scale for the city, like for downtown, for emergent arts. Like they were big scale. Were you nervous to take that on? Like, or you knew the audience was there?
Well, I've always liked to flip language and flip scenarios, right?
Yeah.
So and question everything. So when I was in high school, and I had one progressive teacher, and it was like a documentary media class. This is 90s.
Yeah.
No, actually, it might have been the 80s. Yeah, it was the 80s. So she showed us Paris is Burning and this film, The Queen.
Wow.
Which was Flawless Sabrina. Do you remember?
I
it?
remember Flawless
Yeah.
Sabrina, and I remember that
So,
film.
You have to go back to when I was.
in the 80s playing even Paris
That's
is Burning.
pretty
in a public
wild.
school.
New England,
That's,
okay.
that's amazing.
Yeah, and both of those things were incredible documentaries, but to have it shown in Connecticut was like mind blowing.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, "Holy shit!"
That's amazing.
So that was a big part of when I was a photographer. I was photographing drag queens. So those early pageants and those communities that drag queens, ballroom dancers, gay men, trans women, there was such a rich community, and I literally was like, "Where's ours?"
Yeah.
And what I loved about the ballroom culture and drag queens and the pageants was it was entertaining and it was campy, first and foremost.
Yeah.
It was a blast. It was showbiz. So I literally was like, I am doing this for us.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun and it's going to be funny and it's going to be wild and crazy. And, the audience, you could tell they were desperate for it.
Yeah. And the
Because-
competitors.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, the other side of the coin in the community, they don't get to enjoy the fun part of camp.
Yeah.
It's something else. It's like a whole, when you've been disenfranchised and you're in the gay community, you're on the lowest of the totem pole.
Right.
You're not like, oh, I'm going to go make some jokes and like get to the system. You're so oppressed that you're pissed all the time.
Of course.
So I tried to take all of that stuff I learned from the drag queens and put it into these shows.
Yeah.
And I still am doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were always so fun, man. And it was the same electric that was in Philadelphia just a couple weeks ago. But it has to be like pretty notable for you to see the growth in the drag king community. You just hosted the King of Drag, which is like a drag competition show, the first televised one. I mean, like that has to be. I
It's
still think
mind-blowing.
of us as kids. You
Me
know?
too. And then I see these kids and they are kids.
Right. But you are so important to them, and you have to see your mark in the community for continuing to do this at such a high quality level of consistency for so long.
Well, a lot of the kids, the young kings have asked me, they're all impressed with my longevity. And they're like, what, because they can't even imagine.
Yeah, right.
And I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? But my answer is simple. I haven't given up.
Yeah.
I haven't reached the heights that I want to reach still, but I just haven't given up, and I should have given up a week after I started.
Oh, stop.
It's been pushing a heavy boulder up a hill the whole time, but I still believe it's important.
Yeah. Well, you're a good boulder pusher.
It is
You know what
important.
the Kings call me? The younger guys on King of Drag, they call me G Pops.
Oh.
And that's grandfather and dad into one.
Yeah, I'm going to call you G-Pops.
Yeah, they call me
now.
G-Pops.
baby,
I'm just like,
G-Pops.
are we done?
No, we're not done. We have a surprise for you. We have a surprise for you, G-Pops.
We do have a
Cash?
surprise for you,
No,
G-Pops.
no, it's not cash,
Not cash,
unfortunately.
fortunately.
Free mug.
Did
that
you
has
even
the
see the
sticker on it?
picture? Did you even see the
he
picture?
saw the picture.
That Ellis drew?
Yeah, Ellis made a beautiful
Yes, I
picture
do.
of
It
you.
looks like the artwork from Breaking Bad.
You get a mug, but you don't get to keep that. You have to give.
Well, it looks like no one gets to keep it. The sticker's going off and it's,
Zip it.
and it's going back to the dollar store.
All right. That actually did come from the dollar store. That came
I know,
from
I'm
Dollar
familiar
Tree.
with the taste.
You stop it. All right. We do have a special surprise for you. When I was thinking about this interview and thinking about you and how you've inspired so many people, we wanted to kind of give you a little heartbeat. So prepare yourself.
Hey, what's going on? It's King Molasses coming at you from Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm here to say some really nice things about Murray Hill, which, lucky me. So, the first time I heard of Murray Hill, this is a bit of a nerdy reason, but when I first started doing drag, I Googled famous drag kings, notable drag kings, and Murray is top of the charts. I mean, it's showbiz, right? And pivoting to now and working with Murray Hill has led to some of the most formative moments in my career as a drag artist. From the Big King show in Brooklyn, New York, where we first met, and it was the first time that I performed in Brooklyn, all the way to, of course, King of Drag, where Murray was the host, and I was one of 10 contestants fighting for the crown. And, I'd say Murray has really inspired me to be accepting of the ups and the downs that come with our work as artists. When you hear showbiz, it really is like this kind of radical acceptance of life, and it just reminds me, like, holy crap, it's showbiz. I'm here. I love that he is the face of just an era of kings that have really pioneered crossing over from just performing in our local dives and community bars to being on the big screen. So if I had anything to say to Murray, I'd say, hey, G-Pops, thanks for doing the damn thing. It's really cool to watch, and it personally gives me a lot to aspire to. So thanks again, and I'll see y'all soon.
G-Pop, my baby boy.
We knew about G-Pops.
I was going to
before.
hit you with G-Pops, but you beat me to it. Because when we heard King Molasses say G-Pops, we were dying. But how does it feel, G-Pops, to be so inspirational and influential to these kids and to have them look up to you? Again, I still think of us as children, but like, they look up to
But
you
you're
big
not.
time.
But you're not children.
No, neither are you.
We're not children.
We're
You
not.
have one, possibly two, but that's a different podcast. My whole way of trying to be a positive force in the world is also to be what I didn't have.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't have support. I didn't have anyone helping me out. I white knuckled life.
Mhm.
And, I am a strong person, And, I'm Italian, I'm Irish. So I have certain, just life skills and producing skills, like just, I could do stuff. So I've always wanted to be an example for people they can get themselves out of, a ditch, but also, it's this thing that old comedians used to say, and not many people do it, is if you make it to the top, then you go back in the elevator, you go down, and you bring everybody up with you.
Yeah.
So early on, I wanted to treat people better than I treated myself and better than my family treated me and that my community treated me. And I was like, I'm not going to be this way in life. I'm going to be this way, which is more aligned with who I am. When I was in grad school coming up with Murray, the persona, the whole point of it back then, the thesis of it was to raise the visibility of people like me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been like my thread. So the fact that I can do it, and it's taken me so long, as you know, taking me so long. And, but I just tell these kids that, don't stop, keep going. And, Molasses won King of Drag and is getting booked all over the country.
That's awesome.
And is having tons of opportunities. You see this a lot in society and in the queer community. Like, I was the first one to do this.
Right.
I was the first one to do that. And like, you'll never hear me talking like that.
No.
And I don't want to be the only one to make it. So I just show them that you can make it. And I also give them a platform to do it. And I'm always telling them, don't, like a lot of these kids, because we've been in nightlife forever. Some of the kings in Atlanta were like, oh, clubs won't book us. They won't pay us. They won't. But I'm like, do a show in a bookstore.
Yeah. Find a way.
It's just.
Find some way, other way to do it.
It's more challenging now because society's like, oh, drag queens, they have, millions of followers.
Yeah.
They make tons of money. They have high fashion, all that stuff. So a promoter in middle America might be like, well, you need to do these kind of numbers.
Yeah.
Or you need to have a $60 ticket, but we're not anywhere near that.
No.
So I just lead by example and with my heart, and I'm not better than anybody else. And that's the Kings couldn't believe how much I hung out with them. And I'm like, we're from the same place.
Yeah.
I'm not,
We're in the family.
Well, and
We're in
that's
the
what makes
family.
it fun. Like, what are you going to do? Go there and you're going to go sit in your dressing room by yourself?
That's it. Well, we know that happens all the time.
I know. But that's, to me, always sad. And like, there's no energy when you're sitting in the dressing room by yourself. It's sad and lonely.
No,
You're right.
and I'm wearing
not
a
sharing or
Mets hat. And the Mets are the team of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I am from the people.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be, saying I'm better or higher,
No.
more this. I'm just like, we're all on the same level. I just have more experience because I'm 85 years old.
Well,
Now are we done?
we'll keep pushing that boulder up that hill.
You're going to love
Murray.
it.
All right, wait, I have a present for you, okay?
Better be
So-
mozzarella.
All good, friends. I had to bribe you today. This is the truffle pasta that you love that I made at Easter.
Ooh,
I made it for you.
Look at that.
Take it.
Well, first of all, we both have short arms. Give it to me.
That's the one I make at Easter.
Can I eat it now?
I know. No, you can't eat it. Well, not in a white chair. No. Oh, my God. No, but you can eat it
This isn't
later.
our house that we
I
rented.
just
We
made
rented
that
this.
for you last night.
Yeah, I know this isn't your house because that's a Wayfair showroom.
Yes, that is my house. It's the Wayfair showroom. Murray was making fun of my house being a Wayfair showroom the other day when we were in the car. And then when I got home the next morning, Murray and I both got emails asking us to be Wayfair influencers.
Nice.
I said yes. So
Murray said
prepare
yes?
for my reels.
No, I'm gonna be the IKEA spokesperson.
spokesperson. Yeah,
spokesperson. All right, Murray, we like to do a little game with everybody. And since you are half Italian and I am 100% Italian, I thought we would do the Italian spelling challenge.
Oh shit!
Are
Okay.
you ready?
Spelling and pronunciation, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I want
Okay,
you.
I'm ready. I'm
all
ready.
right,
What's the first word?
spell Cavatelli.
Shit.
You could do it. Come on,
Cavatelli.
spell it.
CAVATELLA.
No. Okay.
He was close.
Spell rigatoni.
Rigatoni?
Yeah, it's an easy one. This is a starter course.
Rigatoni. Okay, Rigatoni.
Okay, yeah, you got it. All right.
You got
It
that?
just started with that one.
I wanted to kind of just mess it all up, you know? It's a little Italian sweet treat spelled Tarali.
It's a hard one.
T. It's like reading the eye exam. T. E. R.
Nope.
A. E. L. L. I.
No, we'll go. One more. This one is, if you get this one, this is one of my favorite Italian words. It's the word for spoon. Cucchiaio.
What?
Yeah.
That's Cucchiaio?
Cucchiaio.
Cucchiaio.
Cucchiaio?
Yeah, do it.
Cucchiaio.
I got to write it out.
Cockeano.
Could you try spaghetti?
Okay, I don't even know if I can get that one. SPAGH?
Yeah.
ETTI?
Yeah, you got that one. That's
Could you spell Via Vespucci? You see that all the time. Graham Avenue, Via Vespucci.
Oh, okay. I have seen
You
that
should
street.
be able, that should be in your head.
VESPI. I just saw it.
Vespucci.
VESPUCIO.
Yeah. No. Oh.
he's messing with you again.
No, actually,
He knows.
Via
He knows.
Vespucci. Oh, well,
Thanks for covering for me, but I actually don't know.
Murray,
Oh, I
thank
love
you
it.
for playing along.
Hold on.
I love
That's
it.
what? Which?
I want you to spell
Stunad.
my mother's maiden name.
Okay.
Guglielmetti.
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 All right, let me
Guglielmetti.
write it down. Guglielmetti. Guglielmetti?
IE.
Oh.
METTI.
So that would be Guglielmetti. No, Guglielmetti. It would be Guglielmetti.
That's not how they say it in New England.
Right. Okay. I didn't take into consideration the New England. Yes. That's a good last name. I like a GLI.
Extremely Italian.
Glee. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, we got
Yeah.
too much time with the gals. All right. Murray, I want to thank you for being on Showing Off today.
Thank you, Murray.
And wait, when is your book coming out? Do you have a date? A frame of time?
I was a
year?
little bit late to get here today because I just handed in Act 3. There's 2 more acts that I'm just editing, not writing from scratch. We're thinking it's either going to be May next year
Okay.
or fall.
Oh, that's great.
Nice. That's close.
That's not bad at all. That's
That's
going to be
very-
fun. You're going to do a
yeah.
book tour?
I'm going to do a book tour and I want to do a show with it too.
Ooh, that's going to be
Like
really
other big
fun.
cities.
Yeah. Well, I hope you'll continue to book me. You're the only other person who books
Oh,
me.
I'm
so-
sorry. I don't have a
That's
budget.
because you're terrifying.
You know I work for Cheesesteak. Thank you, Murray. Thank you, King Molasses,
Murray.
for sending
Thanks,
us
King.
that video. That
Molasses,
was
what's
so
up?
Yeah.
sweet. And now I will call you
G-Pops.
G-Pops forever.
G-Pops.
All right, guys. Well, this has been the best podcast I've done today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll do anything for both of you. Not that, Brian. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Love you.
And showbiz.
Showbiz.
Thanks, Murray.
I'm glad I talked for 3 hours.
Thank you for being on Showing
Thanks,
Off.
Murray.
We love you.
Love
Happy
you,
to
Murray.
show off,
Love you,
kids.
love you,
I know
Murray.
you
Love
are.
you.
Are we going shopping now?
Ciao for now.
Yeah, Let's go eat at Pedro's.
Murray wants to go to Fish Eddie's.
What's that? Oh, Fish and Eddie's? That was nuts.
We
We had
knew
a
it
great
was gonna
time.
be
We're gonna be. It's always a good time with
What else
Murray
I
Hill,
said?
man.
You should just take this paper and burn it because when Murray's around.
Murray's around. Murray Hill, ladies and gentlemen, everybody.
We're going to say nice things. My favorite thing about Murray is Murray's quotes about, like, if you don't see yourself represented, to go out and represent yourself. Because
Right.
I think that applies in so many spaces and places. Like, people need to really listen to that and do it. I
Oh,
think it's
and
great
just
advice.
and the whole thing about just never giving up. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna take no for an answer. You tell me no, I'm gonna do it 10 times harder.
Yeah.
You do like all that stuff is just it's what you need for longevity in this show business. You know what I mean?
No, and so much, I think, like, we all know the work is really hard and people don't realize how
Yeah.
hard it is. It can feel kind of thankless. And I think it's very beautiful to see this drag king moment coming into fruition now and to see how much Murray means within the community. It's
Oh,
like
absolutely.
praise that is well deserved.
It's well deserved and a long time coming.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
awesome, babe.
Awesome.
Come and
Sick.
chinkle.
All right, I love it.
I
All right.
want to thank everybody for joining us today. And that kicks off episode 2 with the amazing.
That concludes episode 2.
That concludes episode 2 with Mr. Showbiz Murray Hill. Showing Off is brought to you by Base Creatives and produced by Scott Frederick, Ellis Frederick, Ariel Nissenblatt, sound engineer Wolf Taylor. And our theme song is Take Me Back to Brooklyn, written and performed by Brian Newman. And we are recording at Wolf Studios in Brooklyn.
Love it.